This is Kayla Beatty with ShareDog.com here with Fernando Padilla, who is fighting at King of the Cage on September 9th. Fernando, how are you?
Perfect, like always. Happy.
Happy, that's good. Well, happy because you're doing what you love. So you have this fight coming up, but before we talk about that, we were just discussing off camera, UFC 227. You weren't there, but you had some teammates there, but we were discussing how Henry Cejudo became the new champion. I just want to ask you, because, you're also representing Mexico, how do you feel just about Henry being the champion and now having kind of someone for the Hispanic community represent as a champion for the UFC?
It's a hard question. It's good, it's good to have somebody like Hispanic having the title, but it's the same feeling that I have when Tito and Kane have the title, let's be realistic. There's not like 100% Mexican. There's like have a title. Never. Everybody's like Mexican, like, and Henry too. And I love Henry. Like he's cool. Like I saw him one time in LFA, and he's cool. But he deserved the title. He make a good fight, and he deserved that title. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, because I think that a lot of people in the MMA community have said that they know that there's, a following for combat sports or boxing in Mexico, but we haven't had this champion yet. But you're saying that, you want someone more like you that's coming from Mexico to get that title, right?
Yeah, for sure. We have a couple like good fighters in the UFC right now, and I hope I can be one of them and like get the title. But if somebody before me like do it, it will be good. It will be good. Like we don't have not 100% Mexican UFC champion, and that would be good.
And so, can we talk a little bit about before you made the move over here at Team Oyama? You used to train and I think compete in Mexico. Have you been back lately? Have you kind of seen the sport of MMA grow back out there?
Yes. So I came here to Team Oyama the last year, and I think I was really fortunate to be here because the last year in Mexico was a little bit hard for MMA. No events, nobody wants to make events, nobody have money. So I was looking to fight there too because my coach told me like if you want to fight in Mexico, like let's get fights for titles over there. And they already offered me one, but they don't make the event. They never make the event. They never make the fight. So the last year was a little bit weird for Mexico. And I go back, just like every time I fight, I go back and chill out a little bit in Chihuahua. And this December, they make a big event in December. And it was good. But from there to now, like another 6 or 7 months, like they don't do nothing anymore neither. Like I know about 3 or 4 events that they do. I was looking to fight there too, or having a couple of my partners like fighting there, but there's nobody. Like that's the thing. I think it's growing up little by little, but it's stepping back, like 2 steps and 1 step back, 2 steps front, 1 step back. So it's really hard to be in Mexico right now for MMA.
Yeah. Well, maybe they need a champion, like you said, that's full Mexican to bring more excitement to it, more pull to it. So you started out boxing, but I think that you had said, because of your length and reach, and I think you love submissions, you love the grappling. But so can you just talk to us a little bit about, how you started out there and I guess the first day you walked into a gym?
So, so I started with boxing, but even before that, like I always fight in the street. This is something that I tell every time. Like I'm not like proud of that, but it's something real, like I was always fighting on the street. I was never scared to take a punch. I was never scared to take a fight. And when I start boxing, I like it a lot, but it wasn't like, it doesn't feel me like that much. I like boxing, but when I step into the MMA gym the first day, I remember I went with my mom. I was still like a little bit scared. And I met my coach, my old coach, and he was like, oh yeah, whenever you want to come. And I was like, oh, I'm ready to do it today. I remember the first day was just hitting the back. He just showed me how to kick, how to punch. And I was hitting the back bare knuckle, trying to be like cool. But I know I was looking like bad. and it was, I tell you, it was really really weird. But it wasn't till the second day when I tried jiu-jitsu, and I fell in love with the sport. Like I just literally fell in love. Like I started doing jiu-jitsu, I started like moving on the ground. I was like, I like this. I really love this. Like I want to do it.
Yeah, and we've talked about 10th Planet too, and especially at 10th Planet San Diego, there's a few people like Boogie who have talked about his past with dancing and how just having the rhythm and all of that, he really fell into jiu-jitsu and it just felt natural. I think I read that you're a little bit of a dancer yourself. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like your dancing background has helped you in martial arts, but especially with jiu-jitsu?
Yes, the thing with me is that so I'm good at fighting. I want to say I'm good at fighting because I've been training a lot. Like I put literally 24 hours in this. But I was born with the gift of like rhythm. Like I have good rhythm. I like to dance a lot, and whatever you show me, I just do it in 5 minutes. If you show me to dance in 5 minutes, I dance. And when I start fighting, it was the same. Like the footwork, the jiu-jitsu, like how your body is like in the ground. It's like Boogie, like the break dancing and Gio, it helps them a lot. Like same to me, like I start understanding jiu-jitsu is like super fast.
It just clicks.
It just clicks, and like in less than 5 years, I have my brown belt. Like that was like wow, it's impressive.
Yeah, no, for sure it is. And so, well, before we talk about your fight, what's your favorite style of dancing?
I like break dance, like yeah, but I'm good at as a Mexican. I'm good at cumbias, and I like just like popping, like just moving around, like just having something to do, like with moving the body, just popping or electro music. I like to dancing.
And so your fight's on September 9th, I believe. September 8th. And for King of the Cage. And it is an interesting time because, you are coming off the 2 losses, which is a place that I don't think that you've been when I look at your record. Mm-hmm. So how, I guess, are you going into this fight, and just how are you feeling about where you are in your career right now?
I feel hungry. Like after these 2 losses, I feel really hungry. Like it's hard to say it because I don't feel they beat me up, but they win the fight for sure. Like the 2 guys they just wrestle me more, and like they win the fight. But that helps me a lot. That helps me to understand like what I'm doing wrong, because after before those 2 losses, I was with a 4 win streak, like a 4 fights win streak, and I feel my style changed a little bit. Like from last year to this year was just like I started like defending more, like getting not scared, but getting afraid of like, oh, he's going to take me down. Like that's something that doesn't happen my last 4 fights. That I was like, just I'm an aggressive fighter. I don't like to be defensive. I don't like to like hold there. I like to go always to the front. And I guess that was the change that happened in my fight. And for this next fight, like I'm doing that change again. Like I'm not waiting for nothing to happen. I'm going with the mentality of, if I get knocked out, I get knocked out, but I'm going to give a hell of a fight,
Yeah, I think it's such an interesting time when a fighter is, going through the adversity of a couple of losses, because like you said, it just makes you hungry, and you've brought that into the gym to prepare for the next one. So your fight is against Brad Graylick, I believe.
Yeah.
Who I can check my notes. But no, I believe he's also someone that has some submission wins. So is it safe to say that this fight's going to go to the ground? And have you prepared for him? How do you think you match up against him?
The thing of the fight is that I'm very comfortable with my standing. Like that's the thing. Like the fight doesn't start on the ground. Let's be honest. And I feel that I can I really have a knockout power in my knees and my legs, in my hands. So I feel that I can touch him. Like I can stay and like if I can stay standing with him, I can knock him out for sure. And if we go to the ground, it's difficult to say because my jiu-jitsu is different. It's like, okay, Boogie and Gio. Like, they are just different. Like they have a different type of jiu-jitsu, and that's what make them special. And I guess that's the thing with me too. Like my jiu-jitsu is different. Like people who knows me, people who roll with me, even the guys who fight with me. I fight with a black belt, Soares. That it was my first loss of this year, and he wasn't able to submit me. He was actually scared on the ground. He was just holding me. He was just like trying to hug me every time he stand up a little bit. He was like, no, I don't want to be here. And after the fight, he told me like, you're a monster. Like I'm a competition black belt, and you're just a brown belt, like MMA brown belt. And you were able to like holding me there, like not get tapped about for me. It's like, yeah, it's just me. It's my jiu-jitsu. And I feel it's not going to be a difference here. The only difference is that I tell you, I'm hungrier, and I'm trying to be more aggressive. So if the fight go to the ground, I'm just looking for submission, no matter what. Like I'm going to move, being all the time over here.
All right. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us, and good luck to you on your next fight.
Thank you.
Thank you.